Back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate here on Sunday. First, before we get into the analysis, let's see how we did last night. So, if you guys played last night, you probably saw in your cash games that most people had the same lineup. So, it was, 349.25. It was about like half the field had that same lineup. So, I kind of went on a little rant on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to do so. I just kind of talked about, I know like that lineup was definitely feasible. There was a lot of very good plays, but there's lineup sellers. Every single night you see people with the same lineup, and it's just those people are frauds. I can't stand it. It ruins the industry. So I got a little mad about that. And then, the lineup that everyone had Dante Exum as well as Derek Favors. And if you go look at the play-by-play, old man Derek Favors played like 4 minutes into the fourth quarter up by like 35, and he got like 15 fantasy points in like 2 minutes. Then Dante Exum started for Rubio, checked back into the game up by 40 points, and got a few more fantasy points. I couldn't believe it. And then to top it all off, I had Lillard and Draymond. It was like a 10-point game with 2 minutes left, and Terry Stotts decides to pull out the white flag and call a game and pull the starter. So super frustrating because I was out like all the right plays, but that's what can you do. So yeah, obviously I went with the Wizard stack. Len, who legit, I don't think he got a point in the second half. Harden, that was pretty obvious lock and load play. Draymond was a letdown in Lillard. I loved him, in competitive games. He always steps up. So, yeah, I ended up losing overall because it did not beat that 349 score. So, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, you should. I did go, talked about it a little bit more, but I don't want to go too much in depth here in the video. So, let's look into this 5-game slate today on Sunday. And so, just first glance from the slate. Really, the two really appealing games for me are Philly, Portland, and the Kings, Lakers. Those games really stick out the page. So, okay, let's start with Westbrook here at 11-1. So we got Paul George most likely back. So against Phoenix, he was basically a lock and load with Paul George out. But Paul George back, 11K for Westbrook. He definitely, this guy's upside every single time he takes the court. So he definitely can get you there. But in my opinion, I think there's probably better plays. Like Ben Simmons here at 8.5. So Joel Embiid list is questionable. If he ends up missing, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler would be great plays. Both these guys are underpriced. Even if Embiid plays, Ben Simmons seems too underpriced here at 8.5K. So I do like Ben Simmons. And you got Fox. This Lakers-Kings game, man. It's definitely game stackable. Fox shot the ball 6 of 20 against the Lakers and still put up 47 fantasy points. This guy is literally just been on fire, and man, I'm all about Fox today. I want to try and get as much exposure to this Kings-Lakers game as I can. So I really do like Fox. Lillard, again, I do like this game as well. Philadelphia, not the same defensive team as they have been in the past. They actually are a team you kind of want to target. So Lillard, 8.2K, that seems too cheap. So I do like Lillard a lot as well. And you got Lonzo, who, again, I want to get a lot of these Lakers in my lineup again. They're just so short-handed. These guys are Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart, and Kuzma are playing most of the game, and they're just all underpriced for a match against the Kings. So I'm all about Lonzo today as well. I know his price would go up a little bit, but doesn't worry me. I love Lonzo today. Winslow, surprisingly, this guy's been playing pretty well here and getting some consistent minutes. I wouldn't expect this 52 fantasy points again, but this guy definitely does have upside. So we have to consider Winslow, and I think he might go a little under-owned because the flocks might go to this Kings-Lakers game, but I think Winslow does still have some upside. Then you got Chris Dunn, who's priced all the way down now to 6.2K. That seems way too cheap for Chris Dunn. The issue is obviously that Toronto could be a blowout, but man, 6K for Chris Dunn, that just seems way too cheap. Let's see, McCollum, again, this Philly-Portland game, a lot of these guys seem too underpriced, but I have the same analysis of McCollum every time. I would rather just pay the extra whatever it is to get Lillard. So that's kind of the same thing I feel again. And then Levine got limited to 30 minutes, but man, 6K, 6.1K for Zach Levine. That is so cheap. I know matchup not the best, definitely blowout factor. But man, Chris Dunn and Levine just seem so underpriced. But then you got Ingram and these Lakers. They're going to play most of the game in a favorable matchup against the Kings. I do really like Ingram as well. Let's see. Van Fleet, you could give a look to if Kyle Lowry's out, but there's probably, in my opinion, better plays on the board. Let's see. Josh Hart, again, these Lakers are just too cheap for their role. He's going to play most of the game against the Kings who play no defense. So Josh Hart, I do really like as well. Let's see. D Wade's now priced all the way down to 4.6K. Seems to be limited to about 24 minutes, but we've seen this guy does have upside. So, you could take a shot at D Wade if you want. I think he'll be pretty low owned. All right, let's move on to shooting guard. And Doncic has been playing unbelievable basketball here. The issue is the minutes. Like, he doesn't play like 38 to 40 minutes. He kind of plays like 30 to 35 at most. But I'm not going to talk you off Doncic if you want to play him. He's been playing great basketball. You got Buddy Hield, who I think is going to be very low owned here. A couple bad shooting nights in a row, but we've seen this guy does have huge upside. The issue is, again, the price. So I think he's going to be really low owned. So if you want to play that aspect in GPPs, I think Buddy Hield, you can get him for like sub 5% ownership. D Rose, as well as Teague, probably not going to play. So we could look to Tyus Jones here at, where's Tyus? I think I missed talking about him. So he's at 4.9K. He's most likely going to be the starting point guard. So should play 30 to 35 minutes would be my guess. Doesn't have huge upside, but I think he can definitely get you like 30 fantasy points. So I think Tyus Jones would be a pretty safe play for cash games. Again, I think Teague and Rose would be out. Let's see here. Where was I? So Jimmy Butler. So again, Butler and Simmons, man, even if Embiid plays, like 6.7K for Jimmy Butler is just too cheap. But man, if Embiid misses, Butler and Simmons, they could be lock and load plays. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to kind of wait for news there. Let's see. So Bogdanovich, again, him and Hield were priced about the same like a couple weeks ago. So I will definitely take the discount of Bogdanovich. Once again, 5.6K. I know his minutes not as secure, but this guy's a very high usage guy off the bench. I love playing guys like that. So Bogdanovich, I do really like him today at 5.6. Shumpert, no, I wouldn't go crazy here. Shumpert has these like big games every once in a great while. He'll literally put up like 2 or 3 of these a year where he gets like 5 or 6 steals and starts hitting some shots. But normally this guy is like a 15 to 25 fantasy point guy. So don't go crazy and chase his 43-point game. Definitely don't expect that again. But I think Shumpert still okay at 4.3K. Lance, man, I would love if they would play him more minutes, but he just seems capped at like 15 to 20 minutes. So I just can't do it. Like, could he get you there for 4K? Yes, in that time, definitely could. But I would rather just pay the extra $700 for Josh Hart, who's going to play 35 minutes. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Same thing with KCP. Yeah, he's really cheap. His minutes are a little more secure at about 25, but I'd rather pay the extra, $1,000 to get Josh Hart, who's going to play 35 minutes and has way more upside. Just kind of my thoughts on that. But ownership-wise, I think KCP and Lance Stevenson could go pretty low owned. So if you want to play that aspect, you could do so. Then you got Kawhi, who, in my opinion, I'm just kind of staying away from Toronto. They're a pretty deep team. They're playing at home, and they got the Bulls. A lot of things leaning towards a blowout, but that's so. And again, they got Ben Simmons for $700 cheaper. Like, I just don't think I want to do Kawhi. And Kuzma, he's the most expensive Laker, so I think his ownership will be the lowest. But he's going to play basically the whole. He's going to play about 40 minutes or so. Lakers do like running small ball with him in the center. So yeah, the price may scare some people off, but I think Kuzma's still a pretty appealing play here at 7.7. Let's see, Bielitsa. So he should play right around 30 minutes. Pretty good matchup here against the Lakers. So I do like Bielitsa. This guy has flashed some pretty big upside too. So Tournaments, you definitely could do it as well. So I think Bielisa, pretty decent play here as well. Again, I want to try and get as much exposure to that game as possible. Let's see. We could look to a Koji. Yeah, no, he's not really seeing the minutes. I'll just say, if Teague and Rose are out, but it looks like a Koji kind of getting limited here. So Mo Harkless, he had that pretty big game here against Golden State. Definitely wouldn't chase, 30 fantasy points is definitely like Mo Harkless' ceiling, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's pretty decent value play at 3.7K. If he's going to play those type of minutes, then let's move on to power forward. Who have we not talked about that I like? Ibaka and Siakam. I like them when Kawhi misses, but with Toronto fully healthy, besides Lowry, it's hard to play a lot of these guys. Chicago, I do love targeting bigs against them, so I think Ibaka would be probably the guy that I'm most interested in here for Toronto. Let's see. Wendell Carter, I wouldn't chase that big game. Did play 33 minutes. Washington, one of the worst rebound teams in the league. So I don't think I would chase Wendell Carter Jr. Ibaka, much better defender. So Bam, Minnesota does like running big here, and they don't seem to want to give Whiteside too many minutes. So if Whiteside gets in foul trouble, or they just close the Bam, which they have been doing a lot, I think Bam's a pretty decent player at 4.2K. Put up 36 fantasy points against Cleveland, so I think Bam, if you want to take a shot at him, I don't mind it. Same thing here, kind of Kelly O. Should play right around 20 minutes, but maybe if some of those Miami guys get in foul trouble, Kelly O would play a few extra minutes. Again, Minnesota plays big, so I think Kelly O, Bam, you could take a shot at one of those two guys. And then you could go like Muscala or Amir Johnson. If Embiid are out, I would probably lean towards Muscala. He's like the better offensive player, but I think those two guys would definitely be in play if Embiid's out. If Embiid plays, I think he's okay at 10K, but I'll probably would look elsewhere. And then you got Cat at 9.8K. Back-to-back pretty big games here. The matchup, not the best. Whiteside, decent defender, but I think Cat is definitely doable. Steven Adams, I think, is priced about right at 7.3K. I think pretty safe for cash games. Whiteside, if he can stay out of foul trouble and if they play him, 30 or plus minutes, I think you could have a huge game. Cat, good on the offensive end, not so much on the defensive end. So it's just a matter of can Whiteside stay on the court. And then Nurkic, I love playing Nurkic. Back-to-back big games here against Golden State. Now a matchup against Philly, who, again, Embiid, pretty good on the offensive end. I wouldn't say like the worst defender, but definitely not the best defender either. So I think you could do Nurkic. Plus, if Embiid plays, they're going to need Nurkic out there to try and guard Embiid. And you got Cauley-Stein in an up-tempo game against the Lakers. I really do like Cauley-Stein. I want to try to get as much exposure to this game as possible. I think Willie Cauley-Stein's a pretty good play here. DeAndre Jordan, currently listed as questionable right now. So if he ends up missing, guys like Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber would be pretty good value plays. So we're going to have to kind of wait for news of that. Zubac, I'm looking elsewhere. They feel pretty comfortable for some reason giving Tyson Chandler minutes. And then you got McGee, who also might be back as well, just muck up the rotation. So if he's back, I'd probably just stay away from the Lakers bigs. There would just be too many guys in that rotation. Let's see. Again, Powell, Maxi Kleber. I would look to if DeAndre Jordan misses. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I think that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. So really, like what I'm feeling right now is these last two games look really appealing to me. Definitely this last one with the Kings Lakers. Not a whole lot of defense. Definitely game stackable. Everyone's pretty cheap in that game, but then the Philly Portland side, like Lillard and Nurkic, look really appealing, as well as Ben Simmons and Jimmy Butler. So I think that's kind of the route I'm going to take on this slate. So yeah, if you have been enjoying the content, guys, please like this video. All the likes really help me out, like get more exposure to the video. So if you have been enjoying the content, it really helps me out. If you would like the video, I would really appreciate it. So yeah, let's see. I think when we look on Monday, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a pretty decent slate. I'm just looking right now. Monday, yeah, we got a nice 1, 2, 3. We got like a nice 6 game slate. So I will be back for another video then. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a good Sunday, and I will be back on Monday with another video. So I'll see you guys then.